I always made the comment that once a Miller, always a Miller.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! Good heavens, he's done it again! Another promotion for the big man.
I've got 12 bottles of champagne in my office and we're going to drink them all night.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Thank you all for being with us tonight as we look back at a successful Tuesday night. If it wasn't, even though it wasn't entertaining, it was successful. We'll look back at the important 3 points and also ahead to the league leaders, the runaway league leaders, Birmingham City on Saturday. Mick is with us. How are we, Michael?
All good, mate. All good, thank you, Ian.
Very, very good. Thank you very much. Danny's with us, pictureless, so I assume what's happening, Danny?
Yeah, so I'm currently eating food. So I don't want to scare anybody with my munching of McDonald's, so the camera's off for the time being. But hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hope we're all doing all right.
Thank you very much. Tom's back. How are you doing, Tom?
Yeah, excellent. I just wish I could see Danny eating and I'd be tip top, but alas, not.
No, you don't want to see that, mate.
No, I'm with Nick on this one. You don't want to see that.
I can hear it.
We can hear it. I can say, yeah.
I was saying, you can hear the air fryer in the background. That's warming up the McDonald's, that.
Fair enough. Martin Holland's with us. Good evening, everybody. Sorry to receive Bramwell, which we'll talk about. Baz is with us as YouTube user. Richard, Steve, Race Medley. Harry's back on the double Wembley party bus. Thank you very much, Harry. Good to have you aboard. Tom Slifter with us, as is Power Mad. Paula Rose says she's got a cold pizza ready. Living the high life tonight, Paula. And John Morell is with us as well. Before we go any further, we have to discuss the egg in the room. Mick, we've had multiple messages about this.
No, we
about
haven't.
Where to find the Terry's chocolate orange cream egg. There is an update from your side, isn't there?
There is. It is a game changer. Seriously, it is a game changer. So there we are. There's my last one. I managed to purchase a couple, and my wife managed to purchase a couple. One left, and I'm out on the hunt for more. So anybody sees them, Tesco was the last place I managed to get some. So any more places, I'm ready. I'm ready for it because they are absolutely top draw.
Fair enough. I went to Tesco's the other day at Wharf and they didn't have any. I looked for it and they didn't have any before I saw it. So,
tell you, mate, like I said, it's a game changer.
Fair enough. There's your review, everybody. There's your review of it. There we go. Race Medley's in the course. He got to meet me last year in Asda. Danny and Ravenfield yesterday. Two nice guys. Only mixed for the hat trick. I'd go for Tom if you want nice guys for the hat trick, but you do your rate. It's up to you. Right, let us go back to Tuesday night. A thrilling evening, Mick. Look, 3 points is on the board. We'll come to the specifics, but not pretty. At times, it was good, but for the most part, it was just job done.
Yeah, it was. That is a pretty fair summary of Tuesday night. Job done. It wasn't pretty by any stretch of imagination, but we got the 3 points, and that is ultimately the end result. That's the ultimate aim, isn't it? To get 3 points out of every game. So we got it. How we got it, let's don't get me into any more bother because I'm getting a bit tired of it now. Just constant barrage of Mr. Negative. But yeah, we won, and deservedly so. On the balance of the whole game. So yeah, 3 points in the bag. Thank you very much. See you later.
Does right go into the stage season where performance doesn't matter? 3 points is everything. And that's right, Tom. I think Paul Davis, Tom, described it as keeping the season alive. And I think that sums it up pretty well, to be honest with you, because we're still 7 points off and you're still not really in the fight, but it keeps it alive. It keeps you still a couple of results away from them being in it. So it was it's a massive 3 points to keep the season alive.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think we said it last time that, you know, if we weren't looking for playoffs, and what's this season for? So I think any wins and you know, especially after the disappointment of Saturday, I think that win was probably scrappy, but I think second half we probably showed that we, you know, since their goal especially, we showed that we were the better team. So I think it was probably deserved based on that. But yeah, I mean, a little bit concerning with the transfer business, but you know, we'll probably get onto that later.
We will absolutely talk about transfers because it's been the quietest January since last January.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Danny, I suppose we talked on last episode about lack of character at Burton because it shone through. But to be fair to the team, they showed a lot of character on Tuesday because as soon as Cambridge scored, the players stood up and were countered and were excellent post the goal. It's a shame it took that long to get going, but it shows that there is a character about the team that they can come from behind, even against a poor team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've not done it that often this season, coming from behind and actually getting a result out of it. I think it's only happened, 3 times maximum?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think Cambridge might be the 3rd time, to be fair. But, yeah, it's a shame that it took Cambridge scoring for us to really wake up and get into the game. But it just goes to show what we're capable of. We are capable of challenging the team and getting a response out of the players. But we just need to do it without the other team scoring to be the kick up the arse that we need. Because I think if we do that against Birmingham might score 2 or 3 before we actually get the kick up the arse. But yeah, we played well. We had a brilliant response to going behind. And I think against a few teams that will get us over the line. It's just a shame that it took Cambridge until, early doors, second half, them scoring.
Yeah.
For us to really wake up to it. Ideally, it happens in the first 15, 20 minutes or so. But we got the result. That's all that matters. And it's the testament of a team that's willing to fight until the end to get a result like that against a team down the table. Because just look at the Burton game. Burton beat us 4-2. I don't think anyone expected that. But then you look at them beating Reading 3-2. All right, fair enough. They can justify it there. But against us in that situation, you know, it's odds on we're going to beat them. We don't. But then the response is to go and beat Cambridge is a bit of a, we are capable of doing this. And I'm happy about that. I really am. I'm happy about that. And hopefully we can just kick on a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Before we go into somewhere else, Danny, we've had a egg review. Do you want to give us I understand you have a beer review of the special John Breckin pint. I
do, yes. So I've been out with our lass to the board game cafe, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for a pint of Breck 8081 in Cutlers tonight. Beautiful pint, absolutely fantastic. It's a bit like Steelo's, but a little bit smoother. So if you like that sort of thing, get yourself 5 or 6 of them. But yeah, it's really nice. I've messaged John about how nice the pint is as well. And yeah, it's a perfect brew for donating money to the hospice as well whilst you're drinking it.
Beer, eggs, occasional car park chat. What more do you need in your podcast? Ticking all the boxes. Occasionally we talk about football as well. But yeah. Their goal, Tom, comes you going to make things with their goal. Ryan Loft scores. The finish itself is excellent. You can't talk about it. You can't put anything but praise the actual finish. But was it too easy, or did he do very well to get past those players originally?
It's a weak challenge from Raggett, is I think the basis of why that goal went in. And look, I mean, up until that goal, we had it coming. You can't say that you were surprised when it went in. You can't say that it wasn't deserved because they were, you know, not better, but we were as equals. They weren't anything more than we were. So yeah, they deserve to go in front, and it is a poor challenge from Raggett, and it's not like him either. You know, if you know you put a big 6'5" centre half at the back and he flicks a leg at it, you know, you're screaming at him, and I think rightfully so. You know, to me, I know that a couple you know, Evans, Paul Davis, you know, others thought that he had a good game. I still think he looks really rusty. So what if you win 95% of headers? It's not, you know, the be all end all. I reckon Hacks would have won the same amount, if not more. I think we do look a little bit more exposed. But having said that, I think the move to move a Dauphin into midfield, whether it was tactical or not, was maybe in hindsight a really good tactical change. So it was a means for the team, but to me, Raggett still looks really rusty, because we all know how good of a defender he is. We know he's not very good, technically wise, and doesn't have to be. But as a defender, I expected more from him, and that's just based on what he set himself in the past.
Yeah, I agree. Nick says, poor defending, the goal not strong enough to tackle. Tom K highlights that Raggett can't move his feet quickly enough. Yeah, I know you're not a Raggett fan, Mick.
No.
Go on. You same as Tom then. He's got a better before.
Yeah, I mean, he just planted his feet on the floor and he couldn't move them, could he?
No.
From what I've seen of Raggett, he's not good enough for this level, unfortunately. He's a one-trick pony. Yes, he can win header after header after header. And yes, he can, he's dangerous in the opposition box with headers. But there's so much more to the game now of being a centre half. It's not just about heading the ball. And for me, it's just my opinion, and I'm not saying that I'm right. And I've only seen little bits of him. Obviously, he's not had a particularly long run in the team all season, given his injuries. And he obviously performed reasonably well at Pompey last year because they got promoted. But on the flip side of it, when you compare him to Zach Jules, to Cam Humphreys, to Hakeem Adoffin, who's not even a centre half, he's not in the same league in my view, because certainly, well, maybe not Humphreys, but certainly Jules and Adoffin will win just as many headers. I'll just in the opposition box, but they can do so much more with the ball. Raggett, for me, unfortunately, I just feel that he hasn't got it. Even when we're passing the ball across the back four, it's almost as if he has to physically look down and concentrate on receiving and passing the ball. He has to concentrate on what he's doing so he don't get his feet mixed up. It just feels as though, I don't know, maybe that's just form, maybe that's confidence. I don't know what that is, but for me, I don't think he's good enough for this level, and that was a dreadful bit of defending. He just like his feet were stuck on floor, and he couldn't move it. And their players just danced around him. It's poor, really poor.
Let's hope it's just a lack of match fitness, match sharpness. Yeah.
Look, he's a professional footballer and has been for a number of years, and he's played at a reasonable level. And obviously, the team he played in last season won the title in this division. However, I'm only going on what I personally have seen of him and what I make of him from when he's playing with us this season, and I just don't see he's anywhere near good enough at the moment.
No. Yeah. Damon Coward says he thought Phillips should have done better for the goal. I think that's I thought the finish was once he got into a position, I thought the finish was almost unstoppable. I'll be happy to be disproved though.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm taking this one, I think the finish was quite lucky because he slips and it sort of goes higher than I think he was expecting. But I can see why Phillips may be a question mark over it, because it is above him. Right, so theoretically, it's not stick your hands in the air and you probably do save it. But I mean, whenever you watch football, it looks slower than it is on the actual pitch. So I'm sure it absolutely flew past him, and I'm sure that unless he was 6'8" and could just head it away almost, then yeah, I think I agree. I think it's harsh to blame him, but I understand why people would, because it isn't a simple it's not into the corner, or it's not he's had to out of reach. It is sort of just above him basically. But yeah, personally I won't blame him, but I can understand why some people would.
Yeah. Let's talk about the change that kind of enforced the Raggett issue, Danny. Alex Manolo come off injured. Looks like he was injured. He's out for multiple weeks now. The suggestion is at least 2 weeks, Evans has said. I think it might be more than that. But Hacks goes into, I don't know, a right wing position, a right midfield position. this we'll come on to transfers in a minute, Danny, but this shines a light on a lack of depth in this one. Now, Hacks was great. Hacks scored. That's fine. But it still shines a light on our issues at the minute. And it's a concern, isn't it?
No, it is a concern. But you have to remember that we signed Hacks as a right back.
So natural progression is a right wing.
Yeah, exactly. He's just progressed forward a little bit, even though we know he's better as a centre back or a CDM. But no, you're right. The injuries that we've had, especially to McWilliams and now to McDonald, have highlighted such a lack of depth that we've got in the team at the minute, and potentially 6 outgoings, and we've had 1 in so far, potentially 2 by the end of the night, potentially, maybe announced tomorrow morning if Evans's chat to the advertiser is to be believed. It's not adequate cover, in my opinion. Like you say, we'll get onto transfers in a minute, and I'll say my 2p about it there. But to have McDonald go off, Hacks move into probably a right wing back position just goes to show how shallow we are in some areas. Like Hacks is not a right wing back. That's a role for potentially Rafferty or a new signing. Adoffin's a centre back CDM. You know, that is his best position, as we've seen over a few games, even a few seasons. But to read in the advertiser about, oh, well, such and such can do a job there, or so and so can do a job there, it's like, no, that's not good enough. We shouldn't have players who can just do a job in a position. We should have players who are naturally in that position. And I think McDonald going off so early just highlighted how shallow we are in some areas. All right, fair enough. He did the job. He did very well. Fair play to him. But he can't be playing there week in, week out because it's not his natural position.
Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, we will definitely come on to the transfers in a minute because it's a big thing. Let's finish off covering the Cambridge game. Because, Mick, we decided to turn up. Ryan Loft scores that goal. We decided it's time to start playing football. And it's a fantastic ball from Joe Powell. And it's a pump header, to be fair. When Wilkes headed, I thought it was going just wide. But in the end, it's just perfectly inside. It kisses the inside of the post. A really good all-round goal. Not the second one, which we'll come on to, but a really good all-round goal.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, if I'm a Cambridge fan, I'm screaming it's a foul because there's a definite push from Wilkes before he leaves the floor on the defender. The defender didn't claim for it. The defender just sort of shrugged his shoulders as if nothing happened. But it was 2 hands it back. But listen, the referee's not giving it, so that's great, and he's put it away. It was a really good move. Really good move. Get the ball out wide, put it in the box. What happens? I know I'm banging the same drum. But you know, it's exactly the opposite to what we did for the right up until they scored. You know, we'd all we'd done all night is hoof the ball as far up the field as we possibly can. We had zero width, particularly when McDonald was on either side. Each time we won the ball back in defence, and in defence we were looking to play the ball out wide, and there's nobody there. And on both sides, it's just poor. It's really poor tactically, in my view. But once they scored, the game changed completely. And when we started getting the ball out wide, and like you said, it's a great ball from Powell and a great cross in. Really good cross. And he took it, and like you said, the perfect header, really, just kissing the inside of the post. Yeah, really good goal. Good to get back into the game. But we shouldn't be having to wait for those things to happen before we actually start having some impact on the game, particularly against teams who are in the bottom 2 or 3. It's not right. But listen, we won, so that's what's important. I've got to concentrate on that because
good try.
Yeah, and I really struggle with it. I do, because you know, you and I, we all sat there through that first half. Most of us just probably wanted to go home. It was freezing cold, and it was so dull. You know, and it wasn't until they opened the scoring and we actually sat up and thought, all right, we better do something here. If they'd not scored, that game would have been 0-0 in my view. I think it would have ended up a 0-0 draw. We'd have all been fed up, cold, and moaning about the fact that we're not taking any points off the 2 teams that we were expected to beat. So Yeah, good goal though. Good move. Good goal. Pleased with that.
Yeah. Terry Femby says, seems Powell's doing well since Mick's had his calendar on show.
Yeah.
We've got a lucky calendar now. Is this what it's got to?
It's there.
He's changing in a few days. We'll see what
It'll be changing
Mr.
tomorrow.
February looks like.
Saturday.
John Morrell says he has a bone pick with Mick. He always claims refs in this league are better than the Championship. We're well over halfway through the season. I can confirm that it's very wide of the mark. I've been fine.
John, you're wrong, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. Because in the Championship, Birmingham are a big team. You're not one of the small fry like we are in the Championship.
Okay.
In this division, it's the same. So, and that's the issue. That's the issue. But even so, you cannot be serious with that comment, because there's no way that they are better in the Championship than they are in this division. No way on this earth.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm not saying they're good in this division, but they're damn sight better than that shower up there.
Yeah. Second goal, Tom, is a Hakeem Adolphin goal. Comes from a really, really nice bit of play from Lewis Sibley. Starts it in the middle, wilts out wide. Hack's goal. That's a really, really nice team goal. Again, that makes sense. Getting the ball in the wide areas. Hacks is excellent and always been excellent at them late runs from midfield. So he is an asset in that forward position. And that goal kind of sums up why we've on this podcast always preferred Hacks in midfield. But it was a good goal.
Yeah. Well, like you say, it started off really well, and credit to Sibley, because I thought he was, I don't want to say he was, played outstandingly or anything, but I think he set a bit of a tempo after their goal went in, and he sort of, you started noticing him more and more on both on the ball and off the ball. So I thought he grew into the game, and credit to him. He's not pulled up any trees yet, but he's considering he joined 4 days ago, maybe probably trained with them once, maybe twice. He's put in a decent shift in both games. But yeah, I mean, Wilkes, for all my life, I can't see how he wasn't offside, and I still look at it now and still don't know how he's that far ahead of the defenders with it being onside. But you got to believe the linesmen, because they are better than the Championship refs. And then the ball across is the pullback's great, and the finish is even better. It's a proper striker's finish, and to say that came from a right back is it's incredible, really. But I mean, yeah, you are right. If you play Hacks further forward, you're going to get the more attacking intent than you would do with McDonald. He's not going to be running onto that in the box and guiding it into the far post. But I just think with a Dauphin, he's so good when the ball's in front of him that when he sort of has to get it and turn, he's very clunky. So I you guys might love him in midfield, but I still think he's either better as a sort of proper forward or as a centre half. I just think he's a weird player where he's good all over the pitch, but if he gets his back to their goal, he's sort of it's not the cleanest sort of turn go that you'll see with Powell, Sibley, even McDonald or McWilliams. It's not as comfortable sort of in possession. But there's always chance for improvement. And I mean, if he scores goals like that week in, week out, then absolutely, I'd stick him there every week. But then you're losing a valuable defender. So it's a tough one. And I don't envy Evans for deciding what to do with it. But it sounds like, if you read Davis's article published about an hour ago or so, it sounds like this player that's coming in supposedly tonight, so will be announced tomorrow, is apparently going to take over McDonald's place. So it sounds like it's a straight swap rather than Raggett in for Hacks.
It sounds like it. We'll have to wait and see. David wants to know how your internet was at the start of the show, Danny. It's been all right so far. First time with video. So talk to me, Danny, about the second goal, so we can test your Wi-Fi out.
I thought you were going to ask me how my Wi-Fi is doing to begin with. Well, truth be told, I've not had a chance to watch the highlights back. I'd rather you talk about my internet than the actual thing, but ended it 1-2-1, so I'm happy about it.
Fair enough. The Wi-Fi was spotty there, to be fair.
No, it was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine.
Tom Casey Hacks is much better centre half, but he can't impact the game as much as he can in midfield, which I think sums it up.
Yeah.
Pretty nicely. We managed the game really well after that, to be fair, Mick. We never let them in the game. They're always arm's length. If somebody was going to get if there was going to be a fourth goal in the game, it was going to be us. And that's good. That's fantastic. But it's also a bit of frustration. Where was that for the second half? But we kind of can we blame the Burton game as a hangover, and then when this is now back to us again, or do you not have that much confidence in it?
I don't know, mate. I've no idea. I genuinely don't know, and I'm past caring really at this point. It's irrelevant now. I think somebody mentioned it in the comments earlier on. It's about the 3 points. It's just about the game. Performances are out the window now. Get the 3 points and run. That's what we've got to. That's what we've got to do. So yeah, I'm like I said. I'm not bothered. I have to sit through it, which is the problem. You know, we go to games and we have to sit through 45 minutes of clueless kicking it as hard as you can, tacticless football, and then all of a sudden we find our feet and we start playing again. I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. But look, we won, and that's. I'm happy with it. I'm happy. I'm not furious. I'm not mad. I'm not cross. I'm not fed up. I'm really happy that we won. But
you sound fed up.
I am fed up. No, I am fed up. I'm not fed up that we won. I'm fed up with having to sit through this garbage week in, week out. You know, we've had 5 or 6 games where we've done really, really well. But every now and again, it's not starting to creep back in again. This utter dross that we had to sit through in the first half. You know, it was similar at Burton to some degree throughout the game. We've not had it for 5 or 6 games before that, but we had it for 23 games before. Do you know what I mean? It's starting to creep back in. I don't understand why.
Can I rebuke that and say that because that first half and second half was so different, can you not see that there is like they can clearly do it in every game that they play? It's just lack of concentration and whatnot. No. So I don't think because I said before it's to do with tactics, but I think it's down to the players personally now.
I agree with Tom. It can't be so different and be manager's fault.
Right, okay.
He's not telling them to play like that in first half, is it? The problem in the first half was that Cambridge completely sat in against us and gave us nothing to work on. And the 2 goals we scored, they're both not quite breaks, but they're similar to break goals. So where Cambridge played in the second half after the goal, so they gained a bit of confidence. So they played a little bit more, which then opened the game up a little bit, so it allowed us to think. So I don't say that's Evans' fault.
So what you're saying is then that the way that Cambridge played in that first half forced us to just boot it long all the time.
I think the players ran out of ideas very quickly, so they didn't know what to do, so they just went on.
At what point did they start with any ideas? Because we didn't.
Well, they tried to keep the ball, didn't they? The defenders tried to knock the ball about and nothing happening.
But they did. But because we've not got any width, they've got no place to give the ball. They've got nowhere to give it. Because nobody was out wide. Nobody was showing for the ball. Cam Humphreys didn't see the ball in the first half other than it flying above his head. Because nobody, for whatever reason, wanted to play it through him. And had they played it through him, once he turned, he's got nobody to give it to because there's nobody there. That's the problem. It's tactically, it's wrong.
But how can it be wrong if it was so good in the second half? Or not so good, but loads better in the second half.
Because we put it on the floor and we got it out wide.
But that's a player issue, then not a tactical issue.
Oh, yeah, all right. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll listen. If that's where you want to go with it, that's fine. I don't agree. But I'm not, again, this is not me saying that I am absolutely right and you are all wrong. I'm just giving you my view of what I see of the game. That's all.
No, I agree.
Fair enough. It's wrong. Sorry.
It's wrong. But you're saying you're right. I'm not right.
I sort of do agree. Wrong. I sort of do agree with both points though, because I don't think we've ever been good on the ball, and I know that certain instances would prove me wrong, but like you said, Matt, in that first half we were sort of devoid of ideas very quickly, and I think it doesn't help when we play against a team that doesn't like having the ball, and Burton and Cambridge don't like having the ball. As soon as we can't be in your face, aggressive because we have the ball, we don't know what to do, and we got shown that time and time again, certainly this season and seasons gone by, that when we do have the ball for long periods of the game, I reckon any game that we've had more possession than the opposition, we haven't done well in. And I'd stake a big claim on that, because I just don't think, I think we get devoid of ideas really quickly. And the thing that's good is that when we do win the ball high up, because we're so high up, it's easy to get it to the fullbacks. It's easy to get it to the wide areas, easier, I should say, rather than having to work it from goalkeeper to width. We win it in a wide area, sort of.
But why do we become devoid? Why do we become devoid of ideas? It's because there's no movement and there's no structure to the way that we play. That's why, because we get the ball at the back and there's nobody to pass it to, because they're all in the wrong position, they're all in the wrong place, and there's no movement. That's tactics.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's tactics and shape. In and out of possession, in my view.
But I get that as well. But I think we still do miss that sort of creative player, and I don't mean on the ball. I mean someone who will beat a player or use the ball in a way to go forward. You know, you have Powell and Sibley and the likes and Wilkes that you say are technically good players, and they are. But the last time I saw anyone beat a man was Ogbeni about 2 years ago, who, when he got the ball, you thought, right, he's going to skin him here and then get the ball into the box. Whereas now it's more of a sort of build it up. But we can't build it up because some of the players aren't good enough to build it up. So it's sort of about winning it high up so that your players higher up get the ball. Whereas I don't think our centre-backs are as comfortable passing it out from the back.
The bottom line is, in my view, that Evans and Rayner, they just like to play the percentage game. Kick it as far as you can and win a percentage of the second balls. That's what they try to do. The old good old 1970s football tactics. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because we've seen it all season and it doesn't work. What does work is what we've been doing since Lincoln and all the other games this calendar year, with the exception of Burton. And that's trying to play through the third, trying to play and get the ball out wide and get the ball in the box.
Yeah,
we don't do it. We go for the percentage. We'll win some of these second balls eventually.
We don't. Well, the thing that we don't do all the time. I think there's. First of all, I want to say the system we're playing is a new system, 7 or 8 games old, so the players are still getting used to it. And I think sometimes there's a confusion in the message. We don't know this, but my guess would be Evans would say, I don't think he's telling him to go long. But what I think he's saying is, don't be worried to go long. Don't be scared to go long. So when there is nothing in the middle happening because there's no width, the players kind of go, well, I've got free rein to go long anyway, and I've got nothing from it, so I'm just going to bomb it long. So I don't think the instructions to do that. I think instructions don't be scared to do it. And I think that's right. You should be able to, but you've got to. I think we're learning the system. I think is where I am. I think the players don't fully understand it yet completely.
Does everybody? What is it?
I do when it's good.
What is it?
What, when it's good?
Yeah.
Well, you're playing through Cameron, but you're getting your power in wide areas.
Say again.
You're playing for Cam Humphries, or you're getting Powell in wide areas, or Hacks was moved out into the wide areas while in possession.
So maybe if we practice that before the games, and then when we got into games, put it into practice, then we wouldn't have a problem, would we? But we don't.
But we have been doing.
We have.
Anyway, we can talk all that of this. Mick Rand, definitely Mick Rand. Parts of that would definitely Mick Rand.
Yeah, it was. I'm sorry. I apologise. I'm going to have my head.
That was a more advanced rant.
No,
that was a more advanced rant.
That was an intellectual rant. That's what that was.
Joel, how can the players not understand the system with half a season? Because we changed it completely on the 1st of January. This system's brand new. It's less than a month old.
So
but we'll not get down that route.
Why did we go back then?
Well, but
that's not.
Should we talk about something? Should we whinge about something else now?
Yes. Let's else.
We can. We can carry this on after Birmingham.
Correct. Once we get battered at Birmingham, we've got like 2 hours on Monday with transfer deadline day. So
great.
We'll that.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Right, the transfer window. I don't know if anybody knows this. The transfer window is open at the minute.
Is it?
So the update is that Cohen Bramall there are talks ongoing. Evans suggested today that there is no bid accepted, or it's not done, but there is a deal to be done with Cohen Bramall going to look, by the sounds of it, Portsmouth. That would take us up to 6 exits this transfer window. There is a rumour that there is a player coming in, either signed tonight or could be signed tomorrow. That's a midfielder from a top club. We don't know anything about him, other than it could be a midfielder. But it's a loan. And also there's another rumour of a loan from a striker, which seems to, from what I'm reading between the lines, it sounds like a striker from Scotland, because they're talking about some FIFA rules. So the Scottish striker, which means it's somebody from Celtic, because they're the only team that played in Europe this week. So if somebody wants to do some research, find a young Celtic striker, that's probably who we're going to get, or try and get. Tom, 6 out.
Yep.
Potentially 3 in.
Yep.
All 3 of those loans, no permanence.
Nope.
How does that scream at you for a transfer window?
Considering that 2 of the players left on transfer fees as well, we could have a 2-hour debate about this. In all honesty, we really could. Bottom line is, whatever happens is going to happen. But the thing that I'm, as in net outgoings, whatever, the thing I'm not happy about is that we're going to get another striker in and 2 midfielders in. And you look at the squad and you think, in that squad, and look, don't get me wrong, people are going to cry and say that Clark Harris and Hugo aren't any good. But if you look at that squad, you've got, and I will list them, who are currently in our squad to play up front: Green, Wilkes, Nombe, Clark Harris, Hugo, and even Coyote can play up there, right?
Yep.
And you're bringing in another one. You're theoretically going to have 7 strikers on the bench. Well, 7 strikers in the squad. Only 2 of them can play. We'll have 5 defenders by the end of this transfer window, and 4 of them have to play. To me, that just screams that they've not got a plan, really. I just, to me, it makes no sense is the direction of where we're going. Look, loans are fine. If they come off, great. If they don't, bye. It's fine. Whereas for me, the lack of depth that we seriously have at the back is concerning, because, I mean, if you read a report today that said that we're not going to find a replacement for Bramwell if he goes, that means we'll have just James at left back. That means that either, if he gets injured, we'll either have to play Zach Jules there or Louis Sibley. Louis Sibley, I don't think has probably ever played left back in his life. You can complain, you can argue that he played left wing back under Warne, or something or other, but left back and left wing back are 2 completely different things. Ask Owen Bramwell that. Playing Zach Jules at left back, and if Rafferty gets injured, playing Hakeem Adoffin at right back leaves you with a centre half partnership of Sean Raggett and Cameron Humphreys, which therefore leaves you no options in midfield, which therefore means that you're going to have to drop a striker back, which I don't know whose fault it is. I don't know whether it's the direction of the board or the lack of funding or players snubbing us, right? And I don't want to sort of try and, pinpoint what it is, where it is, why it is. But something's deathly wrong here. And it's the fact that there's no, for me, plan. There's no sort of structure as to these signings. It's sort of, we've got 2 strikers up front. Let's go get another one for whatever reason. We've got 1 midfielder injured. Let's just go get another one. Louis Sibley is a good signing because it added depth and quality. But after that, you've got to add a centre back of depth and quality, in my opinion, and you've got to add probably a wide player of depth and quality. But it's I don't know anything, right? We're none of us know anything. So it's, I could rant about this for hours, because to me, although it's, you can argue about players that you want and stuff like that, you've got to have a baseline of depth, I think, personally. And not just, you don't have to buy depth for the sake of buying depth, but if you buy a quality centre half who is pushing towards a first team place, even if it's, Stevenage had that centre half who was maybe one of the best defenders in League One last season, who played under Evans. Even if it's an equivalent of him, because I doubt he'd leave, he's captain of Stevenage, but even if it's an equivalent of him, a similar, I know you'd hate him, Mick, but Sean Raggett type, who is depth, and if he comes in, he won't be at fault for goals, sort of thing. Raggett is a player that's probably underwhelmed us this season, but if he plays, it's fine. You don't cry about it. So to me it's even if we do get these 2 players in, I still think it's a bad transfer window due to who we've got out money that we've got out, money that we're spending. In fact, even ignoring money, who we've gone out personnel compared to who we're bringing in personnel, to me, it doesn't make sense. And also to not max those 5 loans, again, doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No. Harry says, Tom, you're a Rotherham fan, you need to pinpoint it on somebody. Those are the rules.
We always need a scapegoat.
Yeah. I think it's Humphrey's fault, to be honest.
Humphreys. Cameron
Humphreys is probably the main culprit.
Tom K. Reece James already looks like he needs a rest. He's been shattered after an hour last few games. He's played so many minutes, Reece James.
Yeah.
Ray Smedley says, is our chairman getting ready for a fire sale at the end of the season, so he has the money for the hotel? Yeah, I was looking down, Danny. So we signed these players for money. Teehee is a good example of that. Cohen Brown's another good example of that, and other ones. You've brought these players in for money, and you've sold them on for a little bit more money. That's kind of the idea of football, and from the modern day transfer side of things. We're not doing that anymore. So we've taken the money for Victor. We've taken the money for Peter Kyoso. We've taken the money for Chris Teehee. You're getting up to £2 million here. And we've not got a big squad. There's only 20 players in the squad. Not all of them are fit, but there's only 20 first-team players in this squad at the moment. So that's not a big squad at all. So although some of those individuals will be on reasonable wages, it's not a massive squad to say the wage bill in total is going to be massive because there can't be. There's not enough players in there. So you're not going to know this, Danny, and I don't know. I'm going to ask you anyway. What is going off here? What has happened to this club in terms of sensible recruitment, in terms of putting out a little bit of money on Dan Barlaser for 300k or whatever it were, and getting some? What's happening?
Well, I think the main thing that we need to consider is that it's the centenary coming up, and we're probably wanting to have the same number of players we had in 1925 in 2025 as well. So probably aiming for about 15 in a first team squad, right? So I think that's the main thing. But no, in all honesty, I don't know, because even under Paul Warne, like you could argue under Paul Warne we had a minimalist squad, but we still had 25. Call it 22 and like 3 first team youth players, if you like. Whereas now it's so depleted. Like there's a few that are injured, that are out of favour. There are a few that have already gone. It's just puzzling. It really is. It's just puzzling. Like in an ideal world, you'd have 6 go out and 6 come in. If the loans, fair enough, because the market for a mid-table League One club isn't going to be the biggest in terms of going out and buying players. So you will have predominant loans coming into your team just to bolster your squad till the end of the season, and then you look again in the summer. But we've had 6 go out and 1 come in. It's a bit, well, what's happening here? And these players haven't left, for cheap. Like, all right, we've sent loans back. That's a slight proportion of the wage bill to us that you could reinvest into another player. Maybe not a whole player swap, if you like, but maybe 2 loans that have gone back could bring in another player's wage-wise for the rest of the season. We've had a few leave for fees. We've made on Chris Teehee, so that could be reinvested. I don't think we'll sell Nombe to Charlton, despite the rumours of £1 million for him, because we'd want to make some sort of return on that. So it's probably like 1.5–2 million potentially. But we're not going out and looking at players and just go, we'll spend a bit of money because he's the right player. Do we know who the right player is? Are we looking to just patch it up until the end of the season and then go again? And that is the vibe that I'm getting. It's we'll patch it up, we'll put square pegs in round holes until come May, June time, and then we'll go out and get some more players in, which isn't the right approach to what Evans has said about, we're still looking for a playoff push. Are we? Because if you're looking for a playoff push, you don't just bring in loan players. Like, all right, fair enough, Lewis Sibley is a very good signing for this level, and he's proven that in his first few outings where he's looked good. But to have a playoff push, you don't just sign Lewis Sibley, you sign at least another 2 players of equal quality to patch your team up, to keep you kicking on, to keep the momentum going. And we've not done that. All right, fair enough. We might announce another midfielder tomorrow and potentially a striker, but to have the maximum of 3 new signings to look forward to, it falls into the category. It's not good enough again. We've been made promises, and it's just like, but it's not living up to it. We are running on a depleted squad, and if in February, March time we have a few injuries, a few cold pitches, and everything, we could be looking at emergency loans. That is how bad our squad depth is at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
And for a team that knows where the limit is, it's a 25-man team plus youth players. To even have 20 fit players, it's like, all right, fair enough, we could do a job here, but we've not even really got that. And it's like, where's the belief in the team? And I think that's going to board level. Like, obviously, we believe in the team. We want them to do well. I think Steve Evans has that belief as well, but it doesn't feel like the board do, to put money in and go, yes, we can get the playoffs. It feels like they're thinking the next season, like, right, we could stay in this division and then reinvest in the summer and try again. Like, no, at least try. Because you could get a player in of Lewis Sibley's quality on a permanent deal who could be a vastly bigger attribute next season. But you need to invest in that this season, and we haven't done that.
Yeah. There's a few bits. I think if you're a serious team going for playoffs, you're do better than bring 3 loans in the January window when you've already got a small squad. That's first thing. If you are serious about it, we as fans will keep talking about it and joking about it, but as a business, football business, if you are serious, you do better than that. Scott Kent says it's balanced in the books. He says accounts are out soon. I've got a feeling win the crap. And I don't want to say anything till the window's over, to be honest with you, Mick, but I'm going to be cards up table. I am concerned that there is all this money going into the club, which is, if by all accounts, is around £2 million, probably a bit more than that. And there's nothing coming out of the club. Now, I accept that loans aren't free, but the Lewis Sibley loan's not going to be £2 million or whatever else the case may be. I am concerned that there's something going on behind the scenes where we've overspent last year or whatever the case may be, because none of it makes any sense to me. I just don't get it, and I don't understand where this is going to. You look at every other football club in the country. If they sell somebody 500k, they'll bring somebody else in. Now, they might not spend the full 500k, but they're going to bring somebody else in for a little bit less money, or whatever the case may be. Or at least get permanent players in. We're getting rid of permanent players to bring loans in. It's such short-term thinking. It's just blowing my mind.
We don't know what's happening, do we?
No.
We don't know what's happening. I mean, we talk about £2 million, whatever it is that we've got for players. Well, we've been offered that. Whether that money's in or not is a completely different matter. Nobody knows. I think the only money that we can be certain of is the money for Victor, because I think that had to be paid straight up front rather than. But the rest of it could be 50p a week for the next 200 years. We don't know the terms of that. We don't know the state of the accounts. We don't know how much money it's costing to run the club on a day-to-day basis, and how much is coming in through the door. The performances on the pitch have significantly affected attendances, and which is therefore match day income is going to come down. We don't know how much a match day costs for us. All these things, none of these figures we're aware of. And as a consequence, we don't know how much the chairman or other board members are actually having to put into the club to keep it going. If they are, we don't know whether they are or they aren't. All these things that are unknown to us. So it's all right saying, we've got £2 million in, why haven't we spent £2 million or whatever? That's not quite. We all know when we actually look at it that it's not that simple. It's not that straightforward at all. That's one side of the coin. The other side, are we an attractive proposition for anybody? If you're an agent, are you going to be wanting to send one of your players here? Arguably not. We're going to be a mid-table League One side with a manager who's got a reputation for not being the kindest to players, let's say. Are you going to want one of your players coming there? Is that has that going to have an impact? I don't know. It may do, it may not, because he's also got a reputation for being successful at this level. So that swings and roundabouts, but you don't know, do you? We're certainly not going to be pushing for promotion. So I wouldn't have thought anyway. There are going to be other teams who are a better proposition than we are. There's all sorts of unknowns here. So it's not that straightforward just to say that, we've had X amount of money in through the door. Why haven't we spent any of it? Again, and add to that how difficult the January transfer window is anyway under normal circumstances. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think we should all wait until 11 o'clock on Monday night, and then we can probably assess whether or not it's been a success or not. I suppose the end of the season will be the acid test for that. We've said many times we're not sure what's going on behind the scenes at the club, and again, we're told one thing at these pointless fans forums, which we know is just corporate bull, or corporate willy waving, depending on who you are. What's the point? I don't know. Nobody knows the actual truth of what's happening, do they? And it's never ever going to be as simple as, well, we've had 2.5 million in through the door, so we've got 2.5 million to spend.
No, but you still you should
not
have
going
some.
to be the case.
You should have some.
Well, maybe you should if you've got that amount of money, because probably haven't been paid. Transfer fees being what they are, they're probably none have ever been paid.
Yeah, but you can purchase against them. You can purchase against them, can't you? If you sold T of 600k, but you only get 100k this year, 100k. You can buy your players on the same deal. On the same terms,
yeah, maybe. Assuming that the club that you're buying it off will accept those terms.
Yeah.
You don't know, do you? You don't know what other expenditure there is. Maybe once the accounts come out, we'll find out. But they'll be sanitised anyway, because accounts always are. But I don't think it's as clear cut as people make out. Or it's, let me rephrase that. It's possibly not as clear cut as people make out. It could be, but it's quite possibly not be, and quite probably won't be. So we'll never find out, I don't think, ultimately. And all we've got to do is hope that Rob Scott and Steve Evans can get sufficient staff through the door by 11 o'clock on Monday to see us out for the rest of the season and make sure we don't get relegated, which I think we've all agreed that we're probably out of that fight for the moment. But that's I think that ultimately where we stand now, that'll be a success for us this season. Moving forward, who knows? I don't know. That's a much bigger question, isn't it?
Yeah, we're in. I don't think we're in a good place at the minute. Even if you just got the players, there's a lot of players out of contract, and some are worth some money, and the rest are out of contract the summer after. So there's no long-term plan in terms of players on the pitch. Let's put it that way. If we talk about cash all you want, there's no long-term strategy, as far as I can tell. We said when Evans came in last year, didn't we? The short-termism is coming, and the short-termism is well and truly here.
Yeah. But we knew that was going to happen. It's a short-term appointment. It was never a long-term appointment. Not to push the club forward. That's not going to happen. We said that right at the very start, and to be honest with you, I think even the chairman knows that. He went to bums on seats, and he wanted season tickets sold, and somebody who got a reputation for getting teams out of this league, despite the fact he'd already got rid of one for 3 bob and a blackie's egg to Derby. So that's what he wanted. Short-term view. Whatever.
Happy days. Happy days.
Very positive.
We'll talk. We'll see what happens between now and Monday. Like I said, there's a midfielder scheduled in from a Premier League club today, tomorrow, and they're waiting on this guy, which it seems like from Celtic, which will, I assume, be after the weekend, but we don't know for certain. Conor Bramall's on his way out. Tom, let's just tick that one off. We're getting some money for Conor Bramall to a championship club. No. I didn't see that coming, to be honest with you. For him, that's a great move.
Oh, yeah, huge. Bigger than I think anyone would have expected, because the biggest of respects to him, he's done what he has when he's needed to, but he's not a defender in the slightest, and he's not got any sort of technical ability for me to be a decent winger. Sure, he's absolutely one of the quickest players I've ever seen, but with that needs to come something, either an end product, sort of being able to defend, and he can't do either, in my opinion. I mean, last season was highlighted so much to me that he can't defend, and this season, I know we've seen a little bit of improvement here and there, but for me, he still can't cross a ball and he can't beat a man. Unless he's got room to run into, he's sort of useless. And Wrexham, as an example, the Wrexham game, he played left wing, and by the time he got to the byline, there was a defender in front of him, and he had nothing to do. He had nowhere to go. He had no pieces of trickery or skill to sort of get a ball in, and when he did, it wasn't very good. So, and he's not young either. So, any amount of money for him, considering he's off in September anyway, in summer anyway, yeah, take it. I think, like I said, he's done his duty if and when called upon to a point, but he's not a huge loss to me at all.
Yeah, I agree. Scott Kent said with Mug Portsmouth for anything over a five. Yes, if you're going to use the money, might as well just send him on. You might as well just release him for nothing, to be fair. So, is it worth it? Who knows? Depends where the money goes, doesn't it? But yeah, that's Bramall. That's not confirmed. Evans said that Bramall was training today at Rotherham United, so it's obviously not as far down the line as was suggested by an agent or a journalist online. But it is where it is. But Danny, to kind of move ahead to the Birmingham game, assuming we get this guy in, this loanee, that will be 16 first-team players available for selection on Saturday, because Jonathan Clark-Harris is out. Evans has confirmed that with a very short answer. That's a small squad, a very small squad, to go to Birmingham City and try and get something. It's going to be a tough afternoon with that amount of players.
Yeah, isn't it? It's enough to fill the first team and 5 subs rule, isn't it?
Not a full bench, yeah.
Yeah, so happy days. We can actually fulfil the match itself. But no, to go to Birmingham with such a depleted squad, it's not looking the best, if I'm being honest. But it'd be the most Rotherham team to go to Birmingham with 5 substitutes, one of which is a goalkeeper, and somehow win 1-0. That'd be the most Rotherham thing ever. But, like I said before, it's just showing that people don't want to come to us at the minute, which is really sad to say, because we need players in, not desperately, but it's erring on the side of desperately. Yeah. And yeah, to go to Birmingham with a team where we won't have Alex McDonald, we won't have Sean McWilliams, we won't have Jonathan Clark-Harris. We'll have players in patchwork positions against a team who hasn't lost at home at all this season. It's a bit squeaky bum time, So I'm not expecting a great deal from the Birmingham game. If I'm being honest, I'd take a draw against Birmingham with how we are at the minute. But yeah, Birmingham are in fine fettle at the minute, despite what John's saying about the officials. They are in fine fettle. They're averaging just over 2 points a game, I think it is at the minute. So Birmingham have wrapped up the league. Fair play, well done. Just hope Wrexham don't finish second, because we will never hit end of that.
Yeah, we do though. We're going to get them out of this league. Get sod off. Get lost. They're spending £2 million in a striker at Wrexham. They're spending Sam Smith and ready for £2 million. We don't need that in this league next year.
Well, they should have paid us more for Ollie Rathbone then, shouldn't they? But anyway, but yeah, going to Birmingham, like I said, I'm not expecting a lot. Take a draw. If we score, I'm happy. That's my preview of the Birmingham game. If we score, we're happy.
Yeah. John said 2.83 points per game, actually.
I've said over 2. It's right.
We all love
behave.
points per game as a Rotherham fan, don't we? Points per game is where we're at.
Swanee doesn't down in Peterborough, does he? Bless him.
John joined us for the scouting report. That will be out tomorrow morning time. So make sure you check out that. With John gives a bit of a breakdown of who's fit, who's not fit, because they've got their own injury problems. But they, bring players in permanently, as it turns out. Mick,
what?
This is going to be a really tough game. Chirping up, innit? This is going to be a tough game. We're light on numbers. We don't know what position exactly this new guy is going to be. So we don't know if he's going to fill the right-hand role, which Hacks did, or whether he's going to be something else and Hacks needs to play a position. So we're, as a fan base and as a prediction, we're kind of in a blind zone, really, because we don't know. Because that right-hand role is obviously important, really important, especially when you need to be solid as well, like we're going to need to be on Saturday.
A couple of things that just made me laugh, really. The fact that we're light on numbers makes no difference whatsoever. No difference whatsoever. Because it's not like we're light on numbers of players who are going to improve us at all.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not like we've got 3 or 4 key players missing.
That was more of a dig at the transfers.
Key players.
No.
So that's the first thing. And the fact that Alex McDonald's not going to be out on right, he's not been out on right every time he's played. So it makes no difference. It's going to be a tough game. It is going to be a tough game, and that all this, it might be just like Rotherham to go there and win. I'm not buying that at all personally. I think they'll be too strong for us. I think they'll be far too strong for us, quite frankly. I hope I'm wrong, but you know as well as I do, don't you, that the quality that Birmingham have got and the confidence that they're playing with, and couple that with the confidence that we're not playing with, and the fact that a lot of the time we're not playing well, it's the writing's on the wall for me, in my view. It's going to be a defeat, and ultimately, Birmingham are not our battle, are they? They should be. They should have been at the beginning of the season. That's exactly the battle that we should have been in, but unfortunately, we're not. So it doesn't really matter what happens to us on Saturday. It's not part of it. It's not going to affect or impact our season too much. Obviously, to get a result out of it would be fantastic, but I'm not buying that. I can't see it. Sorry, I'm sorry to be negative because I'm usually so positive about these things.
He's not even slightly sorry. And any new listeners, he ain't sorry. He's not even slightly sorry. I'll take you up a ref watch. Fari Hallam is the referee on Saturday. Never refereed us before. I haven't checked with referee at Birmingham before, but it's the first time referee for us. So let's see. Do you notice Evan said it pre-match press today that he wants a referee that's strong on Saturday? It's important that we have a referee. We've got a strong referee on Saturday.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't really understand why he felt the need to say that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But there we go. He did. I don't know. You get excuses in early, I suppose, isn't it?
Which is the referee who's built a brick outhouse? Which one's that?
Steve Martin.
Is it Steve Martin?
Yeah, he wears a tight shirt. I don't know how built he is.
Yeah.
I'll say if Steve wants a strong referee, just get him in on loan. You know what I mean? Get him on loan for a game.
No,
it's not Steve Martin, the comedian, Tom.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, that was.
It might as well be.
Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Steve Martin, the comedian's a much better referee.
I think it would be. Yeah. The last time we beat Birmingham away was in Steve Evans's last game, first time round.
Oh, all of a sudden I'm interested in football symmetry.
First time for everything, boys.
Yeah, that was 2015. It was a win. It was a 2-0 win, and he left a few days later for non-footballing reasons, apparently. But yeah, that's the last time a little while ago. We've got generally a really poor record against Birmingham. Really, really poor. But as Mystic John Brown put, didn't Shrewsbury win against Birmingham? Yeah, they did. Race Medley said, listen, nobody thought Stephen would have won at Wrexham. Football's a funny old game, innit? And we always know there's a chance. You're always in with a chance as long as you give yourself a chance. And that's what we didn't do first time round against Birmingham. We've got to play in a way that gives ourselves a chance.
What is that? And that's a serious question. Given the way that we're setting up at the moment, how are we going to be able to impact the way that they play?
The best way.
Pardon my French, right? But shit house it. That's how we manage it.
You've got to be solid.
It's not really a plan, that is it?
For me, you've got to be extremely solid, and you've got to try and press them. You've got to try and unsettle them. At their place is very, very difficult. It's not impossible, but you've got, and like John said in the Sky report here, we've got to be clinical. We've got to take out. If we create a chance, you've got to take them.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem we've got in terms of the press, when we tried the press the other night, we're pressing with 2 players. It's pointless. You either press as a team or you don't. There's and we're kind of quite half-arsed about it. So, it's going to be interesting to see what tactics they try and employ to break Birmingham down. But
we'll see.
I'll shut up now.
Jason Gossip says, "Cheer up, lads. We will." When Transwinner shuts, we'll shut up then because it'll be short. Dave Bez says, moaning at Evans mentioning the referee. What's wrong with that? Geez, some people want anything. I don't think managers are allowed to mention the referee in the pre-match because I think there's an issue. I think there's an issue with that. But anyway, it's just something he has never done before. It wasn't a moan; it was a noting of something he hasn't done yet this season. He also has didn't we go to Huddersfield and get a very credible draw? It's a similar game to that. Birmingham on another level to Huddersfield. But we'll make.
No, I was just saying, at least you're getting some criticism for moaning, not me. I'm happy with it, mate. I think I'm with that lad there, me, definitely. Stop moaning about what Evans has said about ref. Start moaning about what he's doing about on pitch.
Right. Prediction League. I made a mistake with a tweet that I put out on Wednesday. I put a tweet out saying that Ben had got his first correct prediction of the season. He didn't. I was looking at the Burton predictions. He didn't get a correct score prediction, but Danny did. So everybody picked up points on that one. Danny also picked up the maximum available. Everybody else picked up points, which has led to a pretty tight top of the table. Danny, Joy, Tom, all on 15 points. Mick, 2 points ahead. So Danny's now joined. Tom and Joy were obviously lower level before. Ben, Ben's struggling, to be honest.
Ben's relegated.
Ben's relegated. Yeah, we'll get somebody else on connection.
Ben's going to be in Sheffield Wednesday League next season. He's going to be relegated to Pigs League.
The fact that Kev's as high as he is with 3-0 every week is quite impressive, actually.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
Even more impressive, he's gone 3-0 again this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Ben's not here to defend himself, but the fact that other people predicting our results have got more points than Ben is actually quite sad.
Yeah, exactly. Right. This week, Mick was on the scout report, so he's already given us. So, Mick, have you forgot what you predicted, Mick?
Why would I? What would you? That's a really unfair comment, and I'm quite offended by that. Just put it in private chat. Just let me know. Come to everybody else. No, I haven't forgotten. I know exactly what I predicted.
Just to bounce off that, Mick, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I don't know about that. I have no idea. But I do know that we're going to lose 2-0.
Fair enough. Yes. Joy has also gone for a loss, which is she's gone for a 2-1 loss. Joy reckons we'll get a goal. Ben has gone for 1-0 to Birmingham. Thinks we'll be suffocated, as is often the case with Birmingham. Danny, you are joint second now. I mean, you're fourth place, but you're joint second. Where is this going?
To be different, right? We're all predicting losses, right? So I'm going to play it tactically and say, well, somehow, on a win and a prayer, get a 1-0 win.
Oh, I love that kind of positivity, Danny.
It'll bite me in the arse, but I'm going to go for it anyway.
There's much less positivity in the comments, but we'll come on to that. Tom, again, sitting joint second place. What is your prediction?
2-1 loss. I think it'll be closer than people think, though.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be a bat. And Birmingham don't batter teams, do they? In terms of score lines. So
yeah, I take that back. I hope it's closer than it. I hope it's closer than people think.
Scott Kent says Brum 3-0. YouTube says 2-2. Tom K says a 2-1 loss. Darren Cook says 4-1. Steve says 3-0. Harry says 2-0 all to Birmingham. Cheryl Stone goes for the 2-2 as well. Terry Fimby says 2-0. Reg says 2-0 Millers. Should be beating teams like Birmingham. Like it, Reg. Thank you very much. Martin Horn says 3-1. Mystic John Parrell says 5-0. Paul Rhodes says we'll get nil and they can get anything, just pick a number. 1-2 says Neil Liversidge. 3-0 says Sean. 3-0 loss. Fall asleep at half time. Richard says 3-1. Birmingham, I hope I'm wrong. Ahmed says Birmingham was 6-0. Yeah. And I'll get this out there. If we manage to pick up a win against Birmingham, I'm going to look at party buses for Wembley for both the Virtue Trophy final and the final. So get ready because we're doing it. We're not going to win, but you know. Right. We've whinged about referees. We've whinged about Steve Evans. We've whinged about referees. We've whinged about transfers. We've whinged about the game on Tuesday. We've whinged about Saturday. Anything else we need to complain about before we leave?
Yes.
Okay.
Not enough Terry's chocolate orange eggs about. Right. These.
He's not wrong.
And you just can't get them anywhere. What is wrong with people? Just saying.
Yeah. I suppose this will test how much of influence this podcast has. Because if we suddenly start seeing loads of Terry's chocolate oranges everywhere, we'll know it's down to the mixed campaign. Well,
I need to. I'm thinking seriously of writing a strongly worded email to manager of Terry's.
To Terry himself.
Terry himself. Dear Terry.
Mr. Tea Cream.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine we come back on Sunday after beating Birmingham 1-0 and say New York Talk sponsored by Terry's Chocolate Orange Cream Eggs?
Listen, mate, you can come back on Sunday. I won't be here.
Yeah. You will be on your own. We will be back on Monday. Deadline day special. We will coming on at 9 o'clock and in theory going to the deadline unless we get confirmation that there's no deals to be done.
We've got so
we'll
much
all be in yellow ties, yellow suit, not yellow suits, because that would be really silly. But there will be yellow ties on show. Ben will be joining us for that. Are you with us, Danny?
No, I'm at work.
Oh,
right. Okay. I might
do you wear yellow at work just for the occasion?
Maybe. If it gets to 11 o'clock, when I've completely finished work and clocked out, and we get a tweet out saying, but wait, there's more, I will jump on for the final 15 minutes just to see who we sign.
Fair enough. Harry's getting the hashtag going. Hashtag more Terry's eggs.
Absolutely.
Are the mini eggs, the mini egg chocolate ones, are they any good? Have you not tried them?
I've tried, yeah, they're all right. But these are the game changer, mate. These are chocolate orange cream eggs, mate.
Here we go. Damien is absolutely on it. Terry's could buy out Tony. Terry's could be the new owner.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'll include that in my email when I email Terry.
Terry's New York Stadium. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Right.
Could have a chocolate orange stand. What an idea.
It's getting silly now. So let's end it. Like I said, we'll be back on Monday evening, so there'll be nothing to watch on Sunday. So I apologise about that. But if you have not done so already, make sure you've subscribed because the scouting report is out tomorrow morning as we hear from John Morrell about Birmingham City and the fact that they're going to win the title pretty soon and all that stuff that comes with it. If you are watching on X, which I can see a few hundred people are watching on X, make sure you followed us first of all and then go over to YouTube and subscribe upon that channel of New York Talk. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, make sure you've subscribed or followed us or give us a 5-star, whatever it allows you to do on your podcast provider. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Mick. It's been a podcast. So we'll see you all next time. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
I think I always made the comment that once a Miller, always a Miller.
Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! Good heavens, he's done it again! Another promotion for the big man.
I've got 12 bottles of champagne in my office and we're going to drink them all night.
Do me a favor. drop me off in